Glasgow, Scotland, speaking during and immediately after a meeting of the High Ambition Coalition, a group of roughly 60 countries that advocate for the strongest possible policies to address climate change at the UN Climate Change Conference. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry hinted Tuesday that major announcements on climate finance, $100 billion doesn't do it, folks, Kerry said to a gaggle of press following the meeting at the conference, also known as COP26. Kerry was referring to the promise of $100 billion per year in financing for adapting to and mitigating climate change for developing countries, from developed countries at the last major round of climate negotiations in Paris in 2015. It's trillions of dollars that are needed. And the only way that we will get this done is if trillions of dollars are forthcoming. And they are. Tomorrow there will be an announcement. I'm not going to jump the announcement, but there are tens of trillions of dollars announced that are available to be by. Get this done. Kerry means reaching an agreement in Glasgow during the next 2 weeks that will commit all countries to steep enough cuts in greenhouse gas emissions to ensure the world doesn't tip over into catastrophic climate change. Up until now, the lack of adequate financing to rapidly grow the economies of poor countries without resorting to using fossil fuels, the transition, Kerry referred to, has been a major sticking point in negotiations. Large developing nations like India have shied away from making firm commitments to near-term emissions targets. It's unclear who will provide the tens of trillions of dollars Kerry mentioned, but reading the tea leaves, especially his reference to investment, it sounds like the private sector will play a major role, providing loans as opposed. Let me give you an example, Kerry said, when asked by Yahoo News who would be providing the funds. My office worked with the 6 largest banks in America, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, State Street, Bank of America and JP Morgan. They publicly stood up a number of months ago, it wasn't much noticed, and they announced that they will over the next 10 years, they will invest $4.1 trillion. During his prepared remarks at the meeting, Kerry began by lauding the progress that already has been made on reaching the $100 billion goal. That money was supposed to materialize by 2020, but it hasn't been fully funded. People have stepped up significantly, he said. President Biden, as you know, announced at the UN that there would be an $11.4 billion additional commitment from the United States, a doubling of our doubling that he already did at the summit in April. And that has created further commitments. So according to the OECD, the 22-year, next year, is somewhere in the vicinity of $95 to $98 billion. When I was in school, a 98, if you got, but, nevertheless, we want to close it out, he added. And I believe that in the next hours, the next days, there is still space where I believe announcements will be made that will take it over $100 billion. The United States just rejoined the High Ambition Coalition after former President Donald Trump pulled out of the group, which Kerry said he regret, at Tuesday's meeting. He praised the group for successfully pushing for more aggressive action to combat climate change in Paris and in the run-up to COP26. How many of you would have thought 6 months ago or 9 months ago that achieving 1.5 degrees from certain countries would be possible? Kerry said. Or that guaranteeing that we would have a ban on the funding of coal externally? That was achieved. Critical steps have been taken and will be taken in the next days and hours. And I think that means unprecedented ambition will be summoned here in Glasgow. Will it be sufficient from all countries to guarantee that we get there? No.